Hello, everyone, and welcome to the end of the week. The day is Sunday, and congratulations, you've made it. Give yourselves all a round of applause and a good old pat on the back. Made it to the end of another week, and that's cause for celebration. And here, Sunday means only one thing. It's hobby day, and today we'll be building and looking briefly at warp spiders. Don't get me wrong, there is a lot of lore and a lot of information on warp spiders, especially if you go back over many codexes. We're not going to go for an in-depth dive into the lore of it. It's just going to be a short, brief look at them and how they play. I'm going to do this a slight bit different today, so any feedback on the change of style when discussing the lore and the building of the units, let me know. It would be fab. Any of you can comment or join the Discord and talk to me there. By all means, let me know. But before we start, today's video was brought to you by orange juice. The sweet hit of vitamin C kept me going through making these models. And now we move swiftly to the video itself. Deep in the craft world is a shrine. This shrine is to the aspect of the war god Kane's willingness to risk everything to defeat the enemy. This is the Warp Spider Shrine, and to say they risk it all is an understatement. Compare, if you will, the Warp Spider to a paratrooper who, let's be honest, in your world, in Earth, as it was back in the second millennium, not the 41st, they were crazy. They jumped out of perfectly serviceable planes. But now imagine if that same paratrooper attached a teleporter so that they could get to the ground faster. And that teleporter, it doesn't just move them from one place to the other, no questions asked. It drags them through hell first. I can hear you all thinking, that is crazy. Well, that's essentially, you might be close to the craziness of the warp spiders. The warp spiders get their name from minute crystalline creatures that defend the infinity circuit in every craft world, even my own beloved Ilkaith. The war gear and armor of the warp spider reflect these tiny beings while also having a warp jump generator upon their backs. And bless, in the 1980s, your Ghostbusters thought having a proton pack on their back was crazy. Wait, you don't know what the warp is? Let me know if you don't, and let me know in the comments, and I'll make a video to explain what it is and the dangers held within. But with these, the warp spiders can teleport, appearing and reappearing in the blink of an eye, making their attacks unexpected. And as you can see by the video playing, they can disorientate the foes and leave them for... Don't get me wrong, Space Marines, they're easily confused, especially when compared to the Aeldari. As has been hinted at, the warp spiders not only associate with Kalementia Kane, but with Anakhyth, the spider god, and their shrines are usually decorated with idols and iconography of their dead matron deity. This god is scarcely honoured outside of the warp spider shrine. Even on Minecraft world, she is only thought to be the daughter of Vol, who is venerated as the craftsman god. On other crafts worlds, they say she is an aspect of Mariah Heg from before her time as a crone. Whichever is true, it matters not to the warp spider, for with their deadly monofilament weapons and their warp jump generators, the warp spiders will fight and defend aggressively the Aeldari race until the very end. To build the models of these crazy bringers of death, you will need clippers, a craft knife, and some plastic glue. As last time, I'm using Army Painter plastic glue and Games Workshop clippers and craft knife. And as stated before, the clippers and craft knife are almost as old as I am. The instructions start you with the X-Arc and a choice. Do you want to build this X-Arc with Death Weavers, X-Arc's Death Spinner, Spinneret Rifle, or Power Blade Array, or even just a pair of Power Blades? For this unit, and to more be in tune with what I want to use the Warp Spiders for in my army, which is going to be as a flanking unit and not really getting into combat, I've got other units for that. I've picked the Spinneret Rifle for the X-Arc with the Death Weavers. The first step has you building the upper body and then attaching the legs before you go on to build everyone's favourite tactical rock. Games Workshop's answer to the question, what can we do to make a model look more dynamic with as little effort as possible? The next step is our first choice of whether you can either attach Power Blades or Death Weavers. With us having a Spinneret Rifle, we are doubling down with range and going Death Weavers. These attach to the Warp Jump generator before it gets placed on their back. From there, you attach the Spinneret Rifle and then the head. And there you have a fully built Warp Spider X-Arc in all its glory. The rest of the unit follows the same process. And I'm going to let that continue with a slideshow. It's going to show you step by step. I'm not going to go through the ins and outs of everything, just because I'm just going to be repeating myself over and over again. But what I will add is that the left arm on each Warp Spider, either A, use the, I'm going to call them straps around the elbow, use those to hold to place in, or use your craft knife very carefully to kind of push the shoulder joint together, and then from there glue it to the gun. It's a very fiddly bit, especially if you've got fat fingers like I have. It's very difficult to do this. But anyway, like I said, either A, use the strap, or B, use the craft knife just to push it in. So while this goes through, let's discuss the Warp Spider for the tabletop and some of the rules that they have. So all the Warp Spiders come with monofilament weapons, and these all have Ignore Cover and Torrent, and all get D6 attacks, meaning a small unit can cause an incredible amount of dice to be rolled to wound should Kane be on your side. I should also say they've got -1 to the armor save. X-Archers, if you go for the X-Arc Death Spinner, that's actually -2. The Spinneret Rifle is -1 still, but like I said, you get the increased range. The one special rule that they all have is Flicker Jump, and that allows you in the movement phase to sacrifice the ability to charge later in the turn, but be able to move a massive 24 inches. Each time the unit does this, roll a d6 for each model, and for each one you roll, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. They also have a 5-up invulnerable save, and they just have normal close combat weapons, unless you build your X-Arc to have the Power Blades. The Warp Spiders are fast and lethal and are best used, in my opinion, to secure flanks and take out weaker targets, squishy units that thought that the enemy had thought were safe behind their lines and secure. Like a spider, they can launch their trap and attack in a second before disappearing in an instant. Next time, we're going to be looking at the first of the Aspect Warriors, Azaman's own Dire Avengers. So, should you want to see that, hit that subscribe button and hit that bell if you're on your phone, if you want notifications sent to it. Did you like the new format? Leave a like if you did and comment on your thoughts and let me know how to improve or what should I integrate from the old into this, or should I go back to the old way we did it? But until we meet next time, take care not to invoke the gaze of she who thirsts. Bye for now. Have a good one. Stay safe.